Good evening and welcome to what is now widely regarded as this show. In the news this week, paramilitaries in Haiti have just revealed why they surrendered to the Americans without a shot being fired. They were worried that their camouflage wasn't up to scratch. And back home, a secret admirer delivers a box of milk tray to Camilla Parker Bowles. And after Alan Sugar cooperates with Panorama, Terry Venables leaves a special message outside his front door. With Ian Hislop tonight, a playwright and comedian who was once one half of a double act called Fiasco Job Job. Whether he was the fiasco or the job job will become clear over the next half hour. Arthur Smith. And on Paul Merton's team, a man who has trodden that familiar career path of being a member of a famous rock group and then going on to write for the Times Literary Supplement and Catholic Herald, journalist and presenter Richard Coles. So, a needle-pulling thread, we start with round one. Ian and Arthur, a glimpse of how the other half lives.
Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Fragrant, Sir Geoffrey, Shagger Parkinson, a bit of cash. I believe that it's to do with all the Tories' wives who have been signed up for Quangos.
24 Tory MPs or peers' wives sit on quasi-autonomous, non-governmental organisations, obviously, so they're all Tories. This came up in the Commons, actually, and John Major said he was going to look into it. And he set up a huge body, headed by Norma Major.
Yes, did you recognise any of the wives in those clips?
Very rare footage being seen with their wives, I thought.
Well, there was...
Lady Archer.
Lovely Lady Archer.
Lovely Lady Archer. Going off to a board meeting at her television company, but not telling Geoffrey. Oh, no. She wouldn't tell him that, obviously.
No. Let's make that up.
Don't want him whipping down the bookie.
Married. I wonder what it's like being married to Geoffrey Howe.
He's very gentle, apparently.
It is the news that the wives of 21 Tory MPs have been given cushy jobs with high salaries and the power to waste millions of taxpayers' money, thereby bringing them into line with their husbands. Lady Howe draws £30,000 a year as chairman of the Broadcasting Standards Council, which means technically this programme is answerable to her. It's our good fortune, then, that she alone among these people does an excellent job, deserves everything, and is lucky to be married to such a dynamic inspiration to us all. If she's watching. If she isn't, he's a complete dullard. Paul...
Isn't that a form of duck?
Paul and Richard, fill us in on this one.
This is a junior minister, I think it's called Paul Beresford or something, and he's been allowed 3 days off a week to carry on dentistry, it being useful employment, and also it giving him a chance to keep his handy, I think.
Yeah.
Might be nice.
Fairly unhygienic.
Perhaps he'll allow Giles Brandreth 3 days off a week to practice being a wanker.
Doesn't need the practice.
No. Yes.
You're not very keen on Paul Beresford jokes over here.
No, because we're both Wandsworth Council, and he was the leader.
You are both Wandsworth Council. I would have told you about my bins.
You're actually in favour of this man, then, Paul Beresford?
Yeah, he had a lot of very good policies, like Arthur and Ian's poll tax bill should be £0.
Yeah.
It was in The Guardian. They were getting a bit desperate for stories, because they'd done all the good ones. So this one was Tory minister is dentist in spare time, which was a bit pathetic. It was to try and keep the story going, because all the Tories got really overexcited by this fake fax that The Guardian had sent. And there was amazing scenes in the Common yesterday. The first time MPs have agreed about anything for years was that you shouldn't nick Commons notepaper. Sort of all-party consensus there.
The Guardian probably can't afford their own notepaper.
It is the exclusive revelation in The Guardian, first reported in The Observer 3 months ago, that Environment Minister Sir Paul Beresford spends 3 days a week working as a dentist. The government says that his dental work doesn't interfere with his practical duties, except, of course, for evening receptions at number 10, where he would insist on gargling his sherry and spitting it into Ted Heath's ear trumpet. Ian and Arthur, that's what social climbing for you.
Well, that's a Sherpa.
Fergie. Michael Heseltine.
It's actually Michael Hutchins.
Well, he's gone home.
Who has?
The Sherpa's gone home.
Yes.
So Michael Hutchins is her new houseboy.
But didn't she sort of... She employed the Sherpa and said, you know, come and look after me and clean the mantelpiece, and he's gone. He's got fed up with her. And she got into contact with Michael Hutchins and said, you know, oh, I'd really love to have dinner with you one night. And he said, sorry, I've got another life to lead.
What does Michael Hutchins do?
Lead singer of In Excess.
Well, he used to go out with Kylie for a long time.
Kylie for a long time.
You don't know?
Not the other one.
That's Kylie Minogue.
Yeah.
Right, Kylie Minogue. No, I'm very keen that you were on my side tonight, actually. Then I could do my Jimmy Somerville impersonation. You don't have to do communards are back.
Don't treat me this way! Visually, it's stunningly accurate, isn't it? Yes, it is the hemorrhage.
I know about young people.
Except I think your appearances in court have been for rather different offences than Jim. Well, I don't know, perhaps not.
No one knows. It is the hemorrhage of servants from the Duchess of York's Surrey home, including a Sherpa she brought back from the Himalayas, who got fed up with working for no pay. The Sherpa's name was Gyaltsen, but Fergie told him, I can't pronounce your name, I'm going to call you Yeltsin. Boris Yeltsin, ironically enough, can't pronounce anyone's name after 6 o'clock.
He'd no good on the 6 o'clock news then, would he?
No, he'd be hopeless.
He'd be absolutely rubbish.
Hang on, what about Michael Hutchinson? Where does he come in?
Michael Hutchinson doesn't exist. Michael Hutchins is the lead singer of In Excess.
No, I'm not interested in him. I'm interested in Michael Hutchinson.
Yeah.
He's the bloke I used to go to school with. How are you, Michael, all right? He brought a dead dog to the nature table.
That's been an odd picnic.
Did he have anything to do with Fergie? Did he want to go out with
Well,
Kylie
that's what I'm
Minogue?
asking. There was a picture of him on the thing. I'm sorry, have I missed something? I should have done Celebrity Squares. I knew that.
Yeah, that's a great shame he didn't.
They wouldn't give me Centre Box, the bastards.
Yeah. I suppose Diana Dawes got it again, doesn't she? Yeah. Fergie, if I can just bring you back to the question, has also sacked her butler, apparently, after...
Well, there is news.
Yeah. You heard it here, anything but first, I would think. Yes, after a series of rows, she got rid of her butler. In retaliation, he has claimed that she failed in an attempt to date Michael Hutchins, the lead singer of In Excess, and not her new houseboy. Apparently, she started screaming, he can't stand me up, I'm the Duchess of York. Unfortunately for her, he did, and unfortunately for us, she is. The butler also claims he heard Fergie grunting and squealing in the bath, although it turned out she just got her thighs wedged between the sides. Paul and Richard, have a shot at this.
David Copperfield turns Claudia Schiffer into Red Ball.
This is the turn elephants into instant Hindus.
It's now considered unkind to shoot elephants with bullets, so you can go to wherever you go to shoot elephants and shoot them with paintballs instead.
So it'd be quite difficult to get the head off an elephant unless it's dead. You know, if you want to put it on your wall or something, because you come near it with a hacksaw, it's out of it straight away. And also there's this theory, isn't there, that sort of like the elephants sort of communicate with each other in a special way, a fax machine it's called. And they'll find out, you know, start saying to each other, they're just shooting paint, you know. We'll start charging them and start charging at them, and then they'll retaliate and get spray guns and start spraying Land Rovers like, you're thick and stupid and all. Signed the elephants. Guess which one?
Have you ever been paintballing, by the way?
Have you?
No.
Well, what's it got to do with you then?
Honestly, though, you know, I think if I were an elephant, well, I wouldn't
You
have
wouldn't
got
live in
booked on this show, would
Okay,
I?
but you might have been on Celebrity Square, though, I think.
Well, they'd have to have a bloody big square, wouldn't they?
Well, I have been paintballing, actually.
Have you?
Yeah, in Kettering. Few elephants to be found, but...
You have a fascinating life, don't you? 1 minute rock stardom, the next minute paintball in Kettering.
According to one of the hunters, within a day, the paint would have disappeared and the animals would have forgotten all about it. Yes, not noted for their long memories, elephants, are they? Paintballing has long been a recreation in Britain on weekends where advertising executives and ex-rock stars shoot at each other in the woods. It's now hoped that they in turn will make the transition to real bullets. Which unnecessary suffering marks the end of this necessary suffering, and the scores, as is virtually obligatory at this stage, are all square, both teams boasting a perfect 4. Fans of the unpredictable will be disappointed to discover that it's time yet again for our all-too-familiar caption competition. Ian and Arthur, here's yours to ponder. Paul and Richard, pour over this. Well, such was the success of last week's brand new book round that it's been dropped in favour of another brand new round entitled Mission to Explain. Viewers of Newsnight, all 7 of them, will have noticed an exciting new development whereby major political stories are demonstrated using all the sophisticated technological wizardry at the BBC's disposal. The question is, as we show you these demonstrations with the sound removed, what's being explained? Paul and Richard, Paul first.
Oh, this is a mock-up of the newly redecorated bathrooms at the Paris Ritz. Here you can see an exact percentage of how much of each toothbrush was paid for by brunette women who hang around in the foyer. Paul, perhaps you'd like to contribute something?
Yes, that's a piece of sponge with 17 pence written on it. And there's a Tory's chances of winning the next election.
So you've no idea then?
Yes. Is it privatised water? Are they trying to demonstrate where all the money goes?
Might be.
That's a question.
They are.
They are.
It's astonishing, but it's true, yes. Very profitable business, water.
It is. I mean, they sold it all off, and the directors of these companies, who used to be sort of third-rate bureaucrats working on the water board, suddenly became top senior executives who needed big packages. So they awarded themselves millions of pounds, put water prices up, and got it. Rather revolting, really.
Okay.
I think what I'm saying is I've taken my shoes off.
I'll inform the media. Any idea who the...
Is it too heavy?
Good to know, thank you. Yes, it is an explanation, presumably aimed at all their viewers in the under 5 age group, of the way water bills have risen since privatisation. The sponges represented the cost of a bath in different areas. The toothbrushes represented, somewhat bizarrely, the cost of sewerage in different areas, and the toilet flush represented the career of the producer, whose idea it was. Since the privatisation of water, telecommunications and energy, water chiefs' salaries have more than trebled. Indeed, it's been so successful that there are now plans to merge water and electricity. Let's hope the directors are in the bath when it happens. Ian and Arthur, your mission is to explain this.
University challenge.
Oh, the Dodgems. Oh, they've got Treasury written on them. There's a cutback in civil service cars, obviously. Department of Transport. Oh no, they're going to hit each other. Woof.
Oh dear, he's upset, look.
Any idea what the story is?
Is it all the departments sort of getting in the way of each other kind of thing, is that right?
They're apparently spending not enough time in the offices and spending far too much time in fun fairs.
It's road development, isn't it? Mm-hmm. If they plan a road, the Department of Transport plans it, and then the Treasury says it's too expensive or it's not expensive enough.
Tell us about your old school friend again, Arthur.
I've got both my shoes off now.
Oh dear.
You're right, Ian.
Ian will be
Have you heard
passing
about
out.
odour eaters?
Great band, great band.
I mean,
Do your Bronski beat impression again. There's a bit more of a human face, Ian. Rather than some smug one you project otherwise.
I thought you had to be miserable. It was, of course, this visual representation of the collision, cleverly represented by a collision, between the Treasury and the Department of Transport over spending on new roads. One of the Transport Department's plans is for a 14-lane M25, or Surrey as it used to be known. Jeremy Paxman is, of course, moving on to other shows, such as University Challenge, leaving the way clear for Newsnight in future to be presented by Ed Stupot Stewart. Which brings to an end this round, and indeed our working relationship with Newsnight, and the scores have altered, well, not much at all, really. Paul and Richard are still floundering with 4, while Ian and Arthur have a massive 8. In any other week, now would be the time for the odd one out round. This week being like any other, it's time for our odd one out round. Paul, your frightening foursome are Carlos the Jackal, fellow terrorist Abu Nidal, Cherie Booth, wife to Tony Blair, and Robert Kilroy Silk.
Who's the guy in the top right? Who did you say he was?
Abu Nidal.
I mean, has he got that sort of mispronunciation built into it?
Abu
His passport,
I thought Abu Nidal were a group.
Were they a group?
Yeah, Super Trooper, Waterloo. They all collect birds.
They've all got their own
They
TV
squash
show.
them like that. Here's a budgie, look at that, look. You could slip a Rizzler under that.
They all live in Balham. So that's no good. There's no odd one out at all.
Have they all fiddled gas meters?
They don't live in Balham, they don't fiddle gas meters, they don't collect birds in books. I think...
What is there left?
Unfortunately, we don't have time to find out. The odd one out is Abu Nidal, as he's the only one who didn't study at the London School of Economics. There you are. Carlos the Jackal, the international terrorist and assassin, spent a year undetected at the LSE. You'd have thought with a name like Carlos the Jackal, they'd just washed him around. Apparently, while he was there, he was the chairman of BombSoc. Richard, your household names are Princess Diana, Kate Adie, Emma Stewardson, and Wendy Mason, a packer in an aftershave factory in Cramlington, Northumberland.
Lady Di and Emma Stewardson, I think there may be a squidgy connection here, because if I remember rightly, this woman is the filly of the Randy Major, James Hewitt. Is that right? Am I right?
Filly
It's a
You've been working for the TLS, not the Sun.
It could be the woman in the left-hand corner is the only one not wearing a hat, because the woman on the right might have a really tiny hat you can't see. Like a thimble.
It's that all of them received affectionate letters from James Hewitt while he was at war in the Gulf, except for Kate Adie, who was, of course, famously out there herself. Emma Stewardson claimed that James Hewitt modelled himself on Prince Charles, which explains why he had it off with Diana a couple of times and then wrote a book about it. Whilst in the Gulf, Major Hewitt made contact with Wendy Mason, who worked in an Old Spice factory. This suggests that the Allies were planning to use chemical warfare after all.
So I've got my sock off now.
Has anyone got the Old Spice? Anything?
I'll put it there.
This is one of the least sexy stripteases you're ever liable.
He's got me going over it.
Your deadly attackers, Arthur, are Jürgen Klinsmann, Killer Wasps, Marks and Spencer Fish Fingers, and BSE Infected Beef.
My theory is that they all have scored for Spurs except Klinsmann lately.
That's right.
Or possibly, no, I think that we have exported from Britain to Germany the wasps, the fish fingers and the cow disease, and they've given us Jürgen Klinsmann.
Is that the right answer?
No, it wasn't the right answer.
Is it the Germans turned down our exports of BSE?
Therefore, the odd one out is...
God, I've had a fish finger for years. I really fancy a fish finger. They're lovely, aren't they, fish fingers?
I think they're rather horrid, actually, but...
Well, you would. You're a caviar man, aren't you?
I don't like that either. What do you like with them? No, I don't want to know that.
No. Chips and beans.
Yeah. And tomato sauce. Well, you get that with the beans anyway. But
Exactly, so you don't want to add any extra, do you?
Well, you might do, just as a little side.
Oh, don't be stupid. You're being ridiculous
What's
now.
being ridiculous about putting a bit of tomato ketchup on a plate?
You've already got it in the beans, you said that!
Yeah, but some of the tomato sauce they put in the beans is substandard, isn't it?
Not the beans I eat.
Oh, what do you eat then? What do you eat then? King's beans? Is that what you eat?
Happy shopper beans.
You got a point there, they do good tomato sauce, yeah. Very palatable.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have time for on panel.
It's so good to be able to get passionate about something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a shame it was that, really.
Can't
Any
win them
idea
all.
what the answer was?
I thought I was on MasterChef for a minute.
I'm going to put everyone out of their misery. It's that all of them have been imported into this country from Germany, with the exception of BSE-infected beef, which is one of the many things we have given to the Germans, along with our car industry and control of our economy.
Do you remember cod roe as well? That was nice.
Yeah, lovely. Like a bit,
Cod roe.
good bit of cod roe. Nice bit of batter around it, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Lovely.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't have tomato sauce on that.
No, that would be anathema.
Ian, you keen on it?
I just don't care.
I'll give them a question about the Prime Minister, keep them happy.
Marks and Spencer's actually buy their fish fingers from the Germans. German fish fingers are superior and produced more efficiently. The home-produced product is simply not good enough, said Marks and Spencer spokesman Helmut Kugelschreiber. Ian, who's the oddest out of George Washington, Booker T. Washington, Michael Jackson, and Francisco Duran.
All of these people have had a singer named after them. There's someone called Gino Washington, who was a singer, and there's a band called Booker T and the MGs, who did Green Onions.
Yeah,
Don't sing it, please.
An instrumental. The other three, the guy in the bottom right, he's the guy who shot at the White House lately, isn't he? So the other three have been inside the White House, or been invited to the White House, and he's the one who couldn't get in and was shooting at it through the window, complaining that he couldn't get in.
Well, you're in the right area. I'll give you one for that. The White House is the right area.
You noticed how much Booker T. Washington looks like Craig Charles, by the way?
I hope Booker T is not alive. Probably
Yeah.
soon.
I think he may have died some time ago, given that he lived in the 19th century.
Well, some people are still here.
Name me one.
Barbara Cartland.
She was born in the 18th century.
I'll tell you, it is that all of them have been to the White House.
Except George Washington.
Quite so, but too late, sadly. Booker T. Washington has gone down in history as the first black man ever to be allowed into the White House. Michael Jackson went down in history as the first former black man ever to be allowed into the White House. And Francisco Duran is the first man ever to rake the White House with machine gun fire. He sprayed bullets into every bedroom window in the building, injuring 200 blonde secretaries from Arkansas. Which transatlantic trivia brings us to the end of this third round, and the nail-biting news is that, well, Paul and Richard are somewhat behind with 6, whereas Ian and Arthur are somewhat up front with 9. Missing words is how we cryptically refer to our next round, based as it is on the identification of words which are missing. Paul and Richard are closest to defeat, so have the disadvantage of starting with. Pope gives Scottish Catholics what?
Slingbacks.
Is it a carriage clock?
It's a cardinal.
Yes, very good, a rare cardinal. Next, Major bites what?
Back.
Norma in wild sex session.
That's just silly.
No. Unfortunately, back was correct. Next, a woman who had Prince Charles under her what?
Spell.
Spell.
Duvet.
No, spell is nearer, given that it's
Charm.
Charm.
spell.
Which?
And lastly, Mark Thatcher breaks what?
Silence.
Down again.
Well, I'm amazed that none of you said wind, anyway, but thank you for that. No, it's too late now. Silence was the correct answer, which Paul said initially. Right.
I love the way he goes for the gag first in this round.
He's not keen to win, is he?
No.
Ian and Arthur, trying to ruin any chance of a knighthood with Queen in bed with what?
Cold.
Is it Manhattan Transfer?
No, red nose is the answer. Next, what to cheer up chickens?
Lulu.
Harvey Proctor.
TV is a rather baffling answer to cheer
Depends what
up
they're
chickens.
watching, I suppose.
Next, Portillo owns up over what?
Gay love child.
How can you have a gay love child?
You can.
The love child could be gay.
The love child could be gay.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Is the right
Thank
answer.
goodness you're here.
Excellent. Nothing to do with
Is it
what I've done.
owns up to the fact that he's got a face like a pig's ass? Do you think he has? Like, if he just turned a pig's ass sideways, that'd be him. Every time I see him, I think, what's the pig's ass doing?
Ticket to Tulips is what I was wanting. It was a trip he was making to Amsterdam. And finally, what make men sterile?
Death.
All work and no play.
It's not eggs, but it is something you eat.
Yeah, fish fingers. Burgers, bread, fish, soup, meat, croutons,
Potatoes,
vegetables, sprouts,
pears, oranges, bananas,
garlic,
celery,
snack pot,
spud you like,
Imperial
KFC.
leather. Carlsberg.
Weetabix, cornflakes, Cocoa Pops.
Voiceovers.
I'll give you nothing at all, because crisps is the right answer. Which astonishing revelation marks the end of tonight's dose of claptrap, and the upshot of it all is that, well, Ian and Arthur have neatly avoided victory with 13, while Paul and Richard have very much achieved it with 14. No prizes for guessing what's next, no prizes. But before we let them pack their bags, we'd like some suggestions, please, for our caption competition. Ian and Arthur.
That was the best sex I've ever had. No thanks, I've just put one out.
Thank you, Paul and Richard.
That's the best sex I've ever had.
Ku Klux Klan unveil new design.
Ku Klux Klan.
Since when did you become a yucker? Oh, darling, you must have the Ku Klux Klan. I so love their bed sheets. One of those pictures is funny in itself, and it's very difficult to put a funny caption on it.
It is.
In my view, says the man on the right and the man on the left. It's a good job you cut these holes in this, otherwise we'd look complete dickheads, wouldn't we? Whose idea was it to fill our balaclavas with helium?
On which ribald note we say thank you to our... Ribald? Yeah. That'll do. Thank you to our... Ribald, sorry, Arthur. We say thank you to our panelists, Ian Hislop and Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith. All right! Paul Merton and Richard Coles. And I leave you with news that at London Zoo, the search for the missing frisbee has been called off. It's been alleged that cuts in police funding are leading to unseemly squabbles over the allocation of helmets. And the producers of Gladiators unveil their latest recruit, Wet Fart. Good night.